Good evening. Welcome to the Swain County High School Athletic Banquet for 2020 and 21 school year. Yes, again, we're a little bit different, but because of the seasons and how long they went, we had to do something a little bit different. So at this time, I would like to thank some people who made this season possible, even at its hardest times during the COVID year. First of all, Mark Sell and the central office staff for doing a great job in supporting us and getting us things to make this season successful. The Swain County High School office staff for all their help and helping us do things during this tough time. The Swain County School Board for allowing us to keep playing athletics during the COVID school year. Even though that wasn't an easy decision, I do think it was the best decision. The Swain County Bus Garage staff for keeping our kids on the road and traveling when we had to have extra buses because of the spacing. The custodian maintenance staff on helping us keeping the places clean during this time. Swain Pride, Matt Pegg, and helping us buy volleyballs and doing stuff for our athletic programs when we had to spend extra money to keep this season going. Toby Burrow with Stats and Media. The Swain County Maroon Devil Network with Joe Hope. We televised over 100 games this year to bring our fans all the games we could at home and even some on the road. I have a special thank you for all the people who helped me during my leave of absence. As AD, Coach Eric Stevenson, and Coach McMahan, who covered me when I was not able to be there. The Swain County High School administration staff, Sonia Blankenship, Michael Turner, Mr. Jones, for helping me cover games when I was not able to come to games and filling in for me. The coaches, they did a great job in covering and helping me do whatever I needed to do during that time. That was special to me, gave me time to be where I needed to be, and I just want to say thank you to all those people. At this time, I'd like to thank the athletes. This year was not easy for our athletes. First of all, they didn't know if they were going to get to have a season. Then the season was put into a cluster where you would be playing multiple seasons. Some of these athletes started workouts on June 15th, and we didn't even start sports until November, December, and January for them. So they went through quite a few workouts during that time, just hoping they would get to play. So they put in a lot of time. Some of these athletes played multiple sports, which they're used to, but playing multiple sports during 1 week was even tougher. We had athletes who played 2 volleyball games 1 week and 2 basketball games 1 week. That's unheard of. But they pulled it off, and they did their best and then some with that. So to our athletes, thank you for putting the time in. We had senior athletes who played past graduation all the way to June 26th, I think it was, that didn't have to do that. But because of their care for their sport, their teammates, their school, they put that time in when they could have left, been graduates, and not had to worry about that. Thank you, seniors, for doing that. To our coaches, for the time you put in for the workouts, starting workouts June 15th, working out every day during those times, putting in extra hours for things that you're not paid for, just to give the kids something to do when sports weren't going on, to give them some type of something regular. I appreciate all you did for our youth and our kids during that time. To the parents for all your transportation, to getting kids to practice, sometimes multiple practice, to the games, taking care of them, doing those things that they're not used to having to do. Not being able to watch your kid play this year at some events where we weren't allowed to travel. Thank you for understanding during that time. That was a tough time for all of us. And at this time, I know I've probably left a few people off, from the people who did small things to the people who did some large things that made this possible for the Swain family and let us do athletics the way we do things. I just want to say thank you for doing that for us. At this time, we'll start with our award ceremony.
This varsity volleyball season was definitely different than what we were used to. We started our normal spring workouts via Google Meet in 2020. The girls showed up the whole time. We then started into the summer with our season getting postponed. We continued to hold workouts via Google Meets until we were allowed to be in the gym with limited capacity and very strict guidelines. Half of our team was allowed in the gym with using their own ball, which in volleyball, it's sort of hard. You can only do so much with your own ball. And the other half was outside doing workouts the whole time. The girls were relentless and refused to concede and believed that there was a chance of our season getting canceled because we thought that might be a possibility. In November, we were finally able to resume normal practices and play a modified season. In December, going into January, our team had to battle adversity with COVID. We were unable to play 3 of our games, and we played 1 game with 7 players, which 6 players go on the court. Our JVs had to battle some adversity as well. They had to step up and play on the varsity level for multiple games, which they did a wonderful job, and I can't thank them enough. This was definitely a season of a whole program effort all the way up. Everyone had each other's backs. They were ready to do whatever they were asked. I can't say enough about the whole group, JV and varsity. To the seniors who stuck it out, thank you for giving your all to us and never giving up on our team and program. You will be greatly missed. I will miss each and every one of you. To the underclassmen, thank you for never giving up last year and not only being physically tough but mentally tough as well. Even though I'm stepping away, which I will definitely miss coaching volleyball, I am always one call away and here whenever you need me. I will be there to watch you and play, and I know y'all will do great things. I would like to thank my assistant coaches, Lydia Sell, Kelly Smith, and Megan Hyatt. Even though we had to endure a year of uncertainty at times, we always had each other's backs. I would also like to thank our athletic trainer, Carrie Powell. This was the first season we ever got to have her at our games, and we loved it. And I just want to say thank you for all you do for all of our athletes. I would also like to thank my husband for all his support this past year. I don't know what I would do without him, and I just want to say thank you for your love and support. This year we had one player make all-conference, and this was Jenna Marr. Jenna was also second team All-Western North Carolina. We also had 2 honorable mentions, and they were Savannah Smith and Kirsten Smith. Congrats to you guys. Our first award we are giving out is the Most Valuable Player. This player has been a big part of our program for the 4 years that we've had her. Her work ethic is like no other, and her drive to be better than her opponent is like no other as well. She is a beast, and it has been awesome to see her go from a quiet little freshman to the loudest, most vocal person on the court. She finished the year with 25 aces, 140 kills, 47 blocks, and 76 digs. She's had some of the best stats in the conference, was one of the leading stat people. She only played in 11 matches, while other people in other schools got to play 14. I know she'll do great things at the collegiate level, and this year's Most Valuable Player is Jenna Marr. Our other award is a Leadership Award. This young lady was at almost every workout, no matter what, and always gave her all for our team. She too started out as a quiet little freshman and ended up being a vocal leader on our team. I know I was super hard on her, but she always was willing to try and do what she was told with no questions asked. She was a great teammate and leader. She was never afraid to ask questions and was always demanded the best of her teammates. She will definitely be missed. This year's Leadership Award goes to Hannah Epperson.
So for this year's JV Volleyball Award, we are giving out a Leadership Award to a player who stayed really solid all throughout COVID season, who always showed up, always hustled, and always was trying to bring the best out of others, and that goes to Miss Amaya Hicks.
This year's varsity football team was one of the first teams, I guess, ever in the history of our program to have to endure playing in a different time of the year. Playing football when it's in February, practice when it's February is pretty cold. There was a lot of cold days and a lot of different scenarios that we had to deal with. And it was just, a season that will be remembered for the certain circumstances that we had to go through as far as the program goes. I will say this, we only had 18 guys on the roster when we started this thing, and it was one of the biggest takeaways from this season was that we had all 18 of them still there when we were finishing. We didn't have anybody quit. There was times where we'll all say and they'll say it was difficult, and a lot of unknowing about what was going to happen, but I will commend them, and I know the rest of our football staff will commend them on, never quitting, being there every day, and trying to better the program in the best way they could. And I hope that the 5 seniors that are leaving, I hope that some of our younger kids can take 1 or 2 things away from them, from a learning experience, and hopefully propel us in the right direction where we want to go with our football program. We did have a few selections on our all-conference and honorable mention. As far as our all-Smoky Mountain Conference goes, Carson Taylor was named to the linebacker section of the all-conference. Damian Lossey was named all-Smoky Mountain Conference defensive back, and Cooper Hyatt was named all-Smoky Mountain Conference wide receiver. We also had 2 honorable mention selections. Gabe Lillard was honorable mention all Smoky Mountain Conference, as well as Mike Winchester, one of our offensive linemen, honorable mention all Smoky Mountain Conference.
This year I have 2 varsity cheerleading football awards to give out. Those 2 awards go to Chloe and Isabel Lambert. Chloe and Isabel are the captains of the varsity cheerleading team. They do so much for our team to help us grow and support the other girls. When we started back after COVID, there were so many COVID protocols that we had to keep up with to have safe practices and games. And Chloe and Isabel did anything that I needed them to do. They cleaned bathrooms. They helped me with sign-in sheets. They made sure that all the girls knew the protocols and what to do, what we had to do to stay safe. Chloe and Isabel give extra time to our team. They record videos. They stay after practice. They do anything that the girls on our team need to be successful. I'm really appreciative of all the things that Chloe and Isabel do for me and McKenna, and also the girls on our team. So thank you, Chloe and Isabel, for all your support.
Okay, and then I have 1 JV award to give out this year, and that award goes to Jade Jenkins for being the most improved. This was her first year cheering, and from learning all the cheers and how to be a flyer, she worked extremely hard, and we are so proud of her for everything she did this year.
Lastly, we'd like to thank all the girls that cheered on both JV and varsity. It was a really weird season with COVID and having football season in the middle of winter. Spring, winter. It was super cold, lots of rain. It was very different than usual, and all of you guys stayed with us and came every day and worked super hard and went with everything that COVID threw at us. And we really appreciate you being with us during that time and all the growth that we made together.
Yes. Thank you.
Hey guys, Coach Cochran here. I want to talk about JV football. I'm actually setting in for Coach Turbyfield, who is out of town today, our head coach. I'd like to make some thank yous on JV football. I'd like to thank both the administrations of the high school and middle school. Our JV football program has 7th and 8th and 9th graders. And so both administrations, both athletic directors, to our parents, thank you for the food that you brought, for the snacks afterwards. Thank you to our players who endured a very different season. Starting in January, ending in March. Thank you for what you've done through the summer when there was uncertainty whether we was even going to have football. We had a great season. We ended up 4-2, and I think the 2 games we lost by a total of 6 points. With both of them there, we lost to Murphy and then lost to Robbinsville. Great season with a great group of guys, and we had a variety of both freshmen, 8th graders, and even some 7th graders that had to step up and contribute to the success we had this season. Some newcomers this year, especially the way the seasons ran. We was able to get some kids out that normally is in other sports during football season. And so it was great to be able to work with those young men and watch them mold. Every year we give out an MVP, and it's something our coaching staff looks at throughout the year, and just look at our MVP and kind of who we turn to when we needed an extra yard or when we needed a tackle or this and that. This year's MVP will go to Josh Collins. If anybody watched Josh play, he plays with grit and determination. He plays with an attitude that says, I want to win. And so it was a great honor to be able to coach this young man and watch him develop over the last 2 years in the JV program. And we look forward to what not only himself but the other freshmen are going to do as they move up to the varsity level this year. We really enjoyed coaching this great group of young men. For me, I've coached this group of seniors for 4 years altogether, and it's just such a great group. And first, I want to say a few thank yous before I get started with talking about the actual team. Thanks to Jack Gray and Jeff Heltman for doing the announcing. And these thank yous are for both of our teams, both of the soccer teams, because they played a role for both of them. Thanks to Joe Holt for setting up the Maroon Devil Network and having people record our games and putting us out there live. Thanks to Carrie Powell for taking care of our athletes. And thanks to Miss Mack for basically capturing all these memories for these athletes and their families. And also thanks to our team managers. Thanks to Kate Poss, Jaden Perez, Emily Ulaner, Isabel Green, Maddie Lay, and Karina Cline for being such great team managers. In this time of COVID and everything, we definitely had to use them throughout the season just to ensure that we're following all the protocols. And also thanks to Coach B and the other coaches for lining our fields. And the next person I want to thank is he's someone who I've had the pleasure of coaching with for quite a few years, and 2 years at the high school level. But this is Coach Romano. He's retired from coaching now and moved back to Florida, but he's impacted so many lives, and he'll definitely be missed. Now, as far as the team goes, this has been quite the season for our boys. We've had some really tough games against Murphy and Highlands and some other schools, but the boys, they played really well. We knew going into this season that we had a lot of talent, but the question was, were we willing to put in the hard work to make that happen? And we did a book study on the hard hat throughout the season. And one of the things that really stood out with that book study, and we talked about it throughout the season, is the saying that hard work beats talent when talent does not work hard. And we spent a lot of time discussing that. And unfortunately, until the team fully experienced that, it's one of those things that it did not hit home with them fully. After we started our season winning 6 straight conference games, and the players started talking about going undefeated and having discussions about that, and instead of just focusing on the next game. And we ended up having to go over to Murphy and play a very wet, muddy game. And our players were just not ready to play on Saturday. And Murphy came out ready to play. They came out ready to put in the hard work. And our players basically, it was a wake-up call for them. It was a wake-up call for them to truly understand that hard work can outperform talent. And so they went on for the rest of the season, and we basically went undefeated the rest of the season. So they realized the importance of putting in that hard work. And we ended up finishing our season in the playoffs against a charter school from outside of Charlotte. But overall, it was a great season. We enjoyed coaching these players, and it was great getting to win the Smoky Mountain Conference Championship. And a lot of our players ended up getting a lot of awards from the conference and region. Really quick, I want to recognize the players of the game for the season. The players of the games were Booth Bassett, Chase Burrell, Gavin Landing, Landon Matz, Lucas Trantham, Noel Wolf, and Zachary Cline. Now, next, I want to recognize the players that received awards from the conference. These awards were voted on by the coaches in the conference, and we had 5 players who were selected for all conference, and also they were selected at the region meeting for all region. The first player that was selected, he led our team in scoring, and that was our striker, sophomore Landon Matz. The next player played on the wing, and we also played him as a striker some, and this was sophomore Matthew Gray. And then our next Smoky Mountain Conference, all-conference player and all-region player was one of our seniors. He played a major role, stopped lots of goals from happening, and this is our senior, Noel Wolf. And then the next player, he played center mid for us and defensive mid, and he was a basically a playmaker at times, and he played really well for us. And this is senior Titan Chase Burrell. And then our last player, before the season started, he was selected as one of the top 5 players in the Western North Carolina to watch. He ended up being selected as Conference Player of the Year for the second year in a row. He was selected as Region Player of the Year, and he was also selected as All-State. And he led the state of North Carolina across all classifications, 1A through 4A, in assists. And he played the attacking mid position for us, and this is our senior, Zachary Cline. Now, for this season, for our Swain Awards, we decided to do 2 Most Improved Awards. And both of these awards are going to be given to seniors. The first senior is a player that was constantly in my ear asking what he could do to improve himself, what he could do to improve his play out on the field. And I believe he did 4 sports this past year, which is pretty much normal for him. He showed tremendous improvement this season, and he's been a true pleasure to coach. The first Most Improved Soccer Player Award goes to our senior, Drew Singani. The next player I coached for all 4 years. When I first saw him, he came out to Camp Living Water, and when we were practicing there, and he struggled with some of the basics in the beginning. He went to the charter school, so he didn't actually get to play on the middle school team. And last year we tried him out as a striker, trying to score some goals, and we soon realized after some discussion that he was a better fit as a defender. He was one of the anchors in the center of our defense this past year. He improved so much as a soccer player throughout this season. And our second Most Improved award goes to senior Booth Bassett. And again, I just want to say it was a pleasure getting to coach this great group of young men. We truly enjoyed it.
Hi, everybody. I'm Keith Payne. I'm a men's cross-country coach here at Swain County High School. Before we begin, I'd like to throw some thanks out to people. I want to thank the Eastern Band of Cherokee and the tribal leaders for their use of Kadua Mound, Ferguson Fields for a lot of the locals. It was years since Swain has hosted a meeting. We ended up hosting 5, including conference and regional. So really would like to thank the Eastern Band of Cherokee and the tribal leaders for last year. And again, for this year, we're going to host some more meets with us. I need to thank Neil and Sonia Blankenship for their leadership, both in academics and athletics. This was a weird year, and they just led us through all this and gave us what we needed to do. Carrie Powell for being a real-life superhero, for being there and taking care of her kids. The things she had to do this year shouldn't be asked of one person to do, and she's just by far, to me, a superhero because she does superhuman things. I want to thank all the parents for their support and coming out to all the meets. Again, I say Swain County parents travel better than anybody else. Fantastic. I love the fact that you all come to every meet. North Carolina Fish and Game for being out there at the Kadua Mounds to make sure the elk stay safe. And Swain County Sheriff's Department for helping us with our home meets, both parking and with traffic. And I'd like to now introduce Coach Jennifer Chatham, the Smoky Mountain Conference Coach of the Year in Cross Country.
Thank you, Coach Payne. I had the honor of coaching the female cross-country team of 2020. So I'm going to go ahead and just read off those that participated this year and got recognized. And then I'll give out some female awards as well. So we had Gracie Monteith. She was Smoky Mountain Runner of the Year, All-Conference Smoky Mountain Conference, and All Regionals, and our MVP. Emily Ulaner is Smoky Mountain Conference All-Conference. Lily Bjerknes, Smoky Mountain Conference All-Conference. Amelia Rogers, Lake and Harvey, Smoky Mountain Conference All-Conference Honorable Mention. Lauren Linton, Josephine Parsons, Katie Simons, Erica Wachacha, and Kendall Ogle all participated. And I was going to say a little bit about a couple of our runners. Gracie Monteith is receiving the MVP award for this year. She consistently came to compete and knocked off the competition one at a time. Her ability to pace and not get caught up in the excitement was very disciplined, and because of that, she was able to win a large amount of conference meets and be very competitive at regional as well. The next award I'm going to give out is the the Coaches Award. And the Coaches Award is always given to someone that supports the team through thick and thin. And this goes to Emily Ulaner. She's stepped it up and assumed the captain role even as a sophomore, and she carried that through this year as a junior. She consistently showed up for her team and encouraged everyone to give 100%, and that's why we chose Emily for the Coaches Award. And the most improved goes to Lily Bjerknes. Lily started running with us in September just on a whim. She had never really ran before. And I remember one day at practice, we were just running 400-meter dashes for a very long time. And she ended up beating me towards the end. And she never stopped after that. She ended up being our third place finisher at the end of the season. And her PR was a 22:17. So she will get the Most Improved Award.
Also, and I'm going to do some of the boys now. One thing about COVID is this was like the longest season in the history of sports. And I know that's not a fact, but I'm pretty sure it probably is. We started in June of last year running with our kids at Deep Creek. We finished almost in February. I mean, it's a 7-month season by the time state rolled around. And we ran in heat, we ran in snow, we ran in cold, rain. That was a lot to ask for, especially a team full of freshmen, to do this, and they didn't complain. They just came out and did it, and it was good to see that. The girls' team is going to piggyback on Coach. They did win conference, so they're conference champions. They were second in regionals, had a great state finish. So, I mean, a very successful season for the girls. The boys finished second in conference, third in regionals, and seventh in state, sixth and somewhere through there. So they had a good season. So I'm going to name off some of our boys. Austin Sansucci, who was Smoky Mountain All-Conference. And then again, All-Conference is top 7. Honorable mention is top 14. Kane Jones, Smoky Mountain All-Conference. Connor Lambert, Smoky Mountain All-Conference Honorable Mention. Drew Singani, Smoky Mountain Conference All-Conference Honorable Mention. And Ryder Maddox, Smoky Mountain Conference All-Conference Honorable Mention again. And we also had Connor Brown, Jackson McClung, and Corey Wolf. So a couple of awards out for our guys. Our MVP is going to go to Austin Sansucci simply because he was our number 1 runner all year, and he won a couple of individual meets, ran exceptionally well on our home course, and he did help our team tremendously with their rise to success and getting back up there and as a powerhouse in the Smoky Mountain Conference. Our most improved runner, now this kid came out of really nowhere. I mean, we knew who he was, but at this point last year, he was still running behind me, and he would run with me as far as he could. Then he'd drop off, and then we'd lose him in the woods somewhere, and he'd get lost. And we're like, oh, where is he? Where is he? And the next thing I know, he's running in front of us, and we're saying you got to go slower. He runs faster. And most improved from the beginning to the end has to go to Kane Jones. And then our Coaches Award, I love this boy with all my heart. He tries. He never misses a practice. He is consistently someone who is there that we can depend on. If we say we need this done, this young man's going to do this for us. He's a senior this year, so I expect really big things from him. So our Coaches Award will go to Jackson McClung.
This year in basketball is definitely a different situation that we've had in the past. We had a reduced schedule, only 14 games, and as far as a standpoint of our kids and their character and what they accomplished throughout this season, given what we were dealing with, I couldn't say, there's words can't describe how proud I am of them as far as what they did, how they competed. We've had to share athletes. We had soccer going on. We had cross country going on. And big thanks to those other 2 programs for working with us and making sure everything went smoothly. I'd like to thank Coach Blankenship and the rest of the athletic department for supporting us throughout this season. Some other people that helped us out big time. Carrie Powell, as usual. Joanna McMahan for doing the scorekeeping. And then Jeff Heltman for doing the clock. And just kind of helping us out, and especially in the time that there was a lot of uncertainty going on. As far as the team goes, it was a very rewarding year as far as character goes, and the kids and how they responded to the situations. having to wear masks, having to deal with that. It was just a really tough situation, and I was very proud of what they were able to do throughout that. We had some individual performers that stood out this year as far as all-conference goes. We had 2 all-conference selections. The first one was being Isaiah Collins. This is Isaiah's first time being all-Smoky Mountain Conference. And then we had Judea Littlejohn, who was all-conference as well. This was his second time being all-conference. We also had 2 honorable mention, Carter Kirkland and Cooper Hyatt. Both of them received votes and were able to be selected honorable mention all-conference. Didn't have anybody all-Western this year, but one good, I guess, rewarding moment for myself is being able to have a kid go to the next level and play college ball. And Judea Littlejohn was able to work out a deal with Haskell University out in Kansas, Lawrence, Kansas, and he's going to be able to continue his career playing at the next level. We had 2 awards this year, and it kind of just fits with what we were doing as far as leadership and the stuff we try to talk about throughout the season. We only had 2 seniors on this year's team, and I just kind of feel it was fitting to give both awards to them. So our 2 senior leadership awards will go to Noel Wolf, and Noel's just from the time he was a freshman to senior year, and he'll tell you that he has matured a lot since then. But I was just very proud of how he responded to situations. He became a tougher player and just did the things that we asked him to do, and really had no questions about it. And then of course Judea's been a 3-year starter for us. It's one of those things we're sad to see him leave and go, but very proud of him for able to go to the next level. I do think that he has made his impact on a lot of kids that will be returning next year, and hopefully that they can build off some of his leadership skills and propel us forward. So thank you guys.
Coach Turner here, varsity girls basketball coach, here to celebrate some awards and accomplishments that we've done this season. First of all, I want to thank the parents and the players. It was a tough year with COVID, all the rules, restrictions, wearing masks, getting up and down the floor with masks on, and all the distancing we had to do, spacing-wise, and all the extra protocols and steps made it a very, very extraneous year for all of our players. But they took it in flying colors because they love to be on the court, they love to compete. I want to thank the parents for getting them there, allowing them to participate in this hard time, and the support that they've given throughout the season. They've done a phenomenal job of raising some very fine young ladies that are going to be great leaders in our community as well as the workplace when they move on, and so excited. Can't wait to see what they do at the next step in college and everything else. Some of the awards that we have, we have a couple honorable mention for all conference. One goes to Savannah Smith, and the other one goes to Amaya Hicks. They were honorable mention for all conference. Savannah also won our Most Improved Award. Seeing her growth from a freshman, until this junior season has been quite amazing. She's taken leadership roles in the locker room as well as on the court, and the strides that she made throughout the season and throughout her career has been just really fun to watch. From starting off as a freshman, kind of splitting time, to working up to a starter as a sophomore, and then a junior year kind of being one of the pillars in the offense, on defense, and as well as in the locker room. It was just kind of awesome to see her grow as an individual on the court and off the court, and as much time as she puts into the weight room and everything that she does to better herself in that regard really showed up on the court this year. She carried us in some games inside, and you could definitely tell a difference. If she's in foul trouble and on the bench, our team looked differently, and that's how important she was to our team. The other award that we have that we're going to offer out, she also got all conference this year, was Maisie Helpman. The award she gets is the most valuable player, and she's won this a few years in a row now. She's been a big part of the program, a big part of the success that we've had, and a great leader, again, on the floor and off the floor. Her and Savannah, along with some other girls that are working very hard to spend time in the weight room in the off season, just bettering themselves and continue to improve themselves throughout the season. She led us in almost all statistical categories that we had, from points per game, to steals, deflections, and stuff like that. She's a big part of what we do and have done, and I'm so excited to see them next year. As Coach Griffin takes them, hopefully takes them to that next level and able to do some things that I wasn't able to get accomplished with them. I'm so excited to see them next year compete in our conference and go beyond, and I'm so excited to see these girls mature and take that next step as they graduate. They've got a great junior class as well with, Maddie and Amaya, who started for us this year, and so Kirsten's another one so they've got a lot of pieces coming back next year, and so excited to see them perform, see them get out there, and I'll be in the bleachers a little bit more, so I can yell at officials a little bit more, and it'll be kind of fun for me. So that was the 2020-2021 Varsity Girls Basketball.
This year, I have 2 varsity basketball cheerleading awards to give out. The first one goes to Isabella Garcia. When we started back after all the COVID stuff, Bella was one of the only people that came to every single workout. She did anything that needed to be done. Because of that, we asked Bella to be our equipment manager. She was in charge of palms, uniforms, making sure everything got to the game and from the game. She would assign which girl needed to do what. She was very organized. She took her job very seriously. And because of her, we were able to have really successful games. We had everything we needed. She worked really hard at that job, and we appreciate everything that Bella did for our team this year. My second varsity basketball cheerleading award goes to Bailey Cochran. Like we've said, this year was crazy because of COVID. We had a lot of new people on our team, but even more than that, there was all the crazy stuff going on, and Bailey grew a lot as a leader. She made it her mission to make sure that all of the girls knew all the material. They knew how to do all the stunts because it was so different. We couldn't stunt for a long time, so when we could, it was like thrown at us, like you have 2 weeks till the first game, and so we rushed a lot, and Bailey made sure that everybody in her stunt group knew exactly what to do, more than stunts, materials, dances, everything. So we really appreciate everything that Bailey did and the leadership that Bailey showed on our team.
Hey guys, Coach Jaimez here. Just wanted to do our year in review and talk about our wrestling season and things of that nature. I'd like to start off with some thank yous. Thank you to our administrators and our AD. We have such great support. Our program's grown, and I feel like the success of it is it's a direct correlation of all the support that they've given us. Our coaching staff, I know I couldn't do everything that we've been trying to do without them. And so Ian and John Roper, Tony Cochran, Dennis Jones, and Coach Mike DeHart, these guys are so instrumental in what we do, and so I'm just fortunate to have them. Thank you to our guys. I know this season wasn't what we wanted it to be. It's one of them things where we talk about having to deal with adversity all the time, and we put in a lot of hard work, and we didn't get all the things that we wanted, but it doesn't mean that the work that we did was diminished. To my parents, thank you guys for giving us the opportunity to work with your sons and daughters. I understand it's an invaluable commodity, and it's really special that you guys give us an opportunity to be a part of their lives and kind of help mold them into the people that we think they can be on and off the mat. Our year, we had a good year. We went 18-2, so not bad. Finished second in the conference. Not what we wanted, but it's what we got. We only had one all-conference this year, and that was Adam Cotterman at 132. And then our regional placers and state qualifiers were Adam Cotterman at 132, Gabe Lillard at 170, and Connor Driver at heavyweight. I want to make a mention of our seniors, Damian Lossie and Drew Singani and Jaden Singley. I just want to say that we appreciate you guys coming out and sticking with it. I know our season drug halfway through the summer, but you guys went as far as you could go, and you were a part of us for as long as you could be. And so your contributions will continue to matter, and they're appreciated. And I just wanted to say thank you guys for everything, and we look forward to seeing what you guys do in the future. And like I said, Wrestling Room's always open to you guys, so thank you for everything.
Hey guys, I'm sitting in for Coach Ian Roper this morning. He is actually in Gainesville, Florida with the Junior Olympics. He kind of heads our girls program, and a vision that Coach Jaimez and himself saw, and we all kind of bought in. Last year had our first season with a lot of girls competing. This year, because of COVID, it was a little different. So I'm going to actually read this message from Coach Roper. I said this was a difficult season for our fledgling girls program just due to the format of the season provided us by the State Association because of COVID. Our season was pushed a month back into the summer. We did not finish until June, and that in itself presented challenges and hardship for some of our girls that impacted our numbers. The biggest challenge, however, was the removal of tournaments for the season. And that is the vehicle we must use in girls wrestling to get them the bulk of their matches. However, we had a core group of ladies that helped keep our kids moving forward into what we are positive is going to be an amazing future. We had 4 state qualifiers this year on the girls' side, led by the returning state runner-up, Jessie Lohman. She was joined at the state tourney this year by newcomers Isabel and Chloe Lambert, first-year wrestlers, and freshman Emmy Everhart. They all went down to Glenn High School and wrestled a different kind of tournament, different format. It was one and done, the same as the boys' tournament if you did not win, but they all went and wrestled great. Our senior this year was Jessie Lohman, and I wish some of y'all could see what she did work-wise. We got to see her go through weightlifting and then right into track practice, and then she was always right in the room wrestling. She wanted to be pushed, and she pushed those around her. We're going to miss Jessie this coming season. She is one of the pioneers for the program, but we're excited to see what the future holds for our Lady Devil Grapplers. I want to echo what Coach Jaimez said. We do thank our wrestlers. Thank you for your hard work, your dedication that you put in, every one of our lady wrestlers and guy wrestlers. It's amazing the hard work they put in. And also the parents, the coaching staff, the administration, our AD, thank you so much for what you allow us to do with these great young men and women on and off the wrestling mat.
One more thank you. I want to tell the Eastern Band Tribal Council, thank you for allowing us to bring our guys down and present them. So that was a great opportunity that they provide us every year. So I appreciate them taking a moment to kind of recognize our kids as well. So that was really nice. I just wanted to make sure I said thank you.
We had such a great group of young ladies, and we enjoyed coaching these girls on the women's soccer team. And I want to start off before we start talking about the team and thank a few people. Thanks to Jeff Helpman and Jack Gray for for announcing our games, and thanks to Joe Holt for organizing the Maroon Devil Network and getting people to video our games so we could get the games out there. Thanks to Catherine Dockery and Jody Helpman for offering yoga and Pilates throughout the season, just to keep the girls going, especially with all the injuries we had this season. Thanks to Miss Mack for capturing some great pictures. Thanks to Carrie Powell for taking care of the girls throughout the season. We kept her really busy in this girls' season this year, and she did a great job taking care of them. Thanks to our team managers, Zachary Cline, Karina Cline, Noel Wolf, Booth Bassett, and Gavin Lanning for helping us out throughout the season. And also thanks to Coach B and the other coaches for lining the fields. The last thanks goes to Kendall Cochran. She has been a true asset out there on the field. She's been such a great addition, bringing her skill set. And it's truly been a pleasure getting to coach with Kendall this season. I personally feel that this year, more than any other year, being on a team is so important, not just for the physical health of our athletes, but also for the mental health of our athletes. I think being on a team plays such a major role in helping them. This season definitely was not the way that we envisioned the season going. We started the season with really high hopes. And in a normal season, we would have probably close to 10 non-conference games before we could ever go into the conference games. This season, our very first game of the season was a conference game. And we started the season with some key seniors getting injured, which also played a major role in the beginning of our season. We started off with 2 losses started our season off with 2 losses, and those seniors being Isabel Green and Kate Poss. We did a book study throughout the season on a hard hat, just like we did with the boys team. And we did a lot of visualization on how we wanted things to take place out on the field and on and off the field, and how we wanted to basically play the game. Perseverance would be the term that came out from that book study. And we discussed this term a lot. The girls really embraced this. It would have been really easy for them to drop their heads and given up, especially after we lost our first 2 games of the season in conference play. But after these first 2 losses, I mean, they bounced back. And we went on to finish the season with a 7-1 record the rest of the season. And we ended up finishing tied for second place in the conference with Murphy. And we had to play a tiebreaker game with Murphy to basically figure out who was going to be second and who was going to go into the playoffs. And the girls came out ready to play that game, and they were ready to go. We pretty much dominated that game because the girls they definitely wanted to make the playoffs. And the playoff seeding definitely didn't go in our direction because the team that we ended up drawing was an undefeated charter school that went on to win the state championship. But overall, we could not be more proud of this group of young ladies. They overcame so many injuries throughout this season, and they persevered with it, so they did really well. Now moving on to the awards. First, with the players of the game throughout the season, the players of the games were Isabel Green, Jaden Perez, Kate Poss, Kaylee Simmons, Maddie Lay, and Maisie Helpman. Now looking at conference awards, we had one player that was selected for conference honorable mention. This player, she is one of our seniors, and she did a great job in goal, and this was our goalkeeper, Maddie Lay. We had 3 players that were recognized for both all-conference and all-region. The first player is a player who led our team in goals, and she did an amazing job just scoring and fighting through some injuries and scoring also. And this is our junior, Kaylee Simmons. The next player that was recognized for all conference and all region, she was second in scoring for us. And she was one of our juniors also. She played a major role in that tiebreaker game with Murphy. And this is junior Maisie Helpman. The last player led our team in steals and clears, and she was also recognized as honorable mention for All-State. And this is our senior, Kate Poss. For the Swain Awards, we decided to also go with 2 Most Improved Awards. The first player was a player who battled asthma throughout the season of wearing masks. She continued to give it her all throughout the season, and she showed major improvement throughout the season, especially as a defender on our back line. And this player is junior Janet Villagomez. This other player has truly turned into a soccer player this season. Before this season, she really relied more on her physical play on the field. But this year, she has embraced improving herself and always giving it her all on the field. When you see her out there, or you see her in practice, she is always giving it her all. And this player was junior Jaden Perez. And again, I just want to say we truly enjoyed coaching this great group of young ladies and enjoyed going out throughout this season with them.
Good morning. I hope everybody's doing well this morning. This past year, was not the year we were looking for, but we were thankful to get back on the field and play some games. We had 2 honorable mention all-conference players. That was a junior center fielder, Cooper Hyatt, and freshman catcher, Carter Hayes. And we had 2 all-conference players. That was a utility player and pitcher, Carson Taylor, and shortstop pitcher, Gabe Lillard. Thank y'all. Hope you guys have a great day.
We had a great softball season in 2021, and at this time we've got some awards we want to give out. But first, before we do that, we want to thank each of our players for coming out and being a part of our program and being a part of our family. For 21, it was a great, enjoyable season for us. I want to thank all of the parents who supported their players, their daughters throughout the year, and came out and supported us as best they could under such unique circumstances that we played under last year. And we just want to thank all of them for all they have done for us this past year and the year before that, which, honestly, we've gotten 19 games in 2 years. Normally we play a 24-game schedule, so it's been a very trying time for the softball program, but I think we've come through it with shining colors because of the character of the folks who play for us, and we're very grateful to have had them. And because of the season that we had some folks who had outstanding years.
Our honorable mentions for all conference were Savannah Smith, Braden Taylor, and Hannah Epperson. All conference players were Maddie Spates and Stacy Griggs. Stacy was also our Smoky Mountain Conference Pitcher of the Year.
And as far as awards go, our most valuable player for this year is, of course, Stacy Griggs, who pitched every inning of every game for us. And I think that's probably the first time since I've been coaching that we've had someone who pitched every inning of every game throughout the season. And she accepted that challenge from day one and made it her goal to be able to support her team the best way she could in the circle. And she had an outstanding year. As Coach McClendon said, being named the Smoky Mountain Conference Pitcher of the Year is a huge honor for her. And we're really proud of her and what she did this year. And wish her nothing but the best. She was one of our 4-year players who's been with us since she was a freshman and played all 4 years for us. We're really going to miss her. She made herself an outstanding leader over those 4 years. And to be honest with you, we're just extremely proud of the young lady that she's grown into over the time that we've been fortunate to share with her. So our most valuable player for this year is Stacy Griggs. For our other award, I think we called it the Lady Devil Award. It could also be a Most Improved Award. Our recipient of this is Hannah Epperson. Hannah is another player who's been with us for 4 years, and she has improved tremendously over her 4 years with us, made herself a starter over time. But the most impressive thing to me about Hannah and what she's done for our program is that she's done anything and everything that's been asked of her to do to help her team. She was a second baseman for 2 years. We asked her to move to the outfield. Without hesitation, she moved. Worked really hard to become a competent and good outfielder, someone who could start for us in the outfield. And then, lo and behold, we had to move her back to second a lot this year. And again, without question, whatever you need me to do, Coach, I'll do it. And again, 4 years with us. And just like Stacy, so proud of the young lady that Hannah's grown into. Over the 4 years, it's been a joy to be able to watch both of these young ladies grow and become the fine, outstanding young ladies that they are. And we think that they are going to have an outstanding future, and we wish them nothing but the best as we move forward.
This year, in 2021, we had a great season, finishing third in the Smoky Mountain Conference. We had 2 members go to regionals, Joe Eagleman and Will Jenkins, and they competed for a chance for state. We came up a little short as we are a young team, but we have a lot of great promise for next season. So this year's awards, Most Improved Award goes to a young man. This is his first year on the golf team. Made a lot of great strides, and I look forward to working with him next year. That would be Carter Kirkland. And the Most Valuable Player Award goes to our number 1 player who placed in the top in the conference for our team. And so this year's Most Valuable Player goes to Joe Eagleman.
Hey everybody, it's Coach Payne again. I'm here to do men's and women's track. Again, this was another weird year, weird season. And what made track so odd is that we started in April and we ended June 26th at the state meet, which meant our seniors had to go past graduation, had to come out and continue to work constantly. Our seniors like Michael Winchester and Monica Reardon and Jessica Lohman and Jenna Marr, and Natalie Stuckey. We came out, Rhea Dingle, and worked for a month after they graduated. When most seniors are out on the lake, most seniors are out making money, most seniors are out doing anything else but coming to school every day at 8:30 in the morning to come to practice and sweat and hurt. But they did it for a reason. I mean, we were building something for the future, and these seniors just stepped up and ensured that what we build is something that people coming up can continue to build upon. So you seniors out there who are going on to college and maybe going to college to perform, the same sport or a different sport, very proud of you all, and we would not have had this success without you all here with us. So again, thank you all, and thank you for everything you all did for us. Also, on behalf of Coach Ian Roper, who's not here today because he is still doing track, we want to thank our other coaches, Colby Hyatt and John Roper, Bruce Roth, Jen Chatham, and Landon Hunt. Again, our coaching staff is key into the development of our athletes and in the development of what they did this year. Overall, we'll talk a little bit about the boys first. The boys team was third in conference. I know you might be thinking, that's not, third, but it's the best finish in years for the boys, and they were in it all the way up till the end. I mean, we were 10 points out of first with 4 events left. We were right there at the end. We were also fourth in regionals, a great showing. We were 14th in state. The boys team had a fantastic year, so I want to name off some of the boys real quick. We had Connor Lambert, Connor Brown, Gavin Rowland, Jackson McClung, Kane Jones, Austin Jenkins, Israel Ferguson, Matthew Gray, Owen Craig, John Schuler, Dawson Cody, Jackson Pittard, Joran Walker, Josh Collins, Josiah Gillespie, Landon Matz, Isaiah Collins, Cooper Hyatt, Ben Payne, Michael Winchester, our senior, and Nathan Bogdanovich. And those boys, again, they worked hard. And we went to several meets, and they really, really worked hard this year to get to where they were going. On the girls' side, girls had a fantastic year, and we knew they would. But at the same time, we had to keep the band together because we should have won state the previous year, but COVID cut us short. And when we went to Jesse and Monica and Jenna and Natalie, and Rhea, they're all like, I don't know, I'm a senior, I'm getting ready to walk out. And when they came out, it just came together. And our girls team won conference. It's our first time in 3 years. We finally broke that stranglehold. We won regionals, and we won state. We're state champions. And it was just a dominant performance, one of the most dominant teams I've ever been a part of. And it was thanks to all these girls, not only our seniors, but to the rest of them, the Emily Ulaner, Gracie Monteith, Lauren Linton, Illy Bjorkness, J.C. Parsons, Jessie Lohman, Monica Reardon, Brianna Ridenpaw, Kendall Ogle, Amelia Rogers, Anna Gray, Julie Smith, Amelia Clough, Cora Watkins, Jenna Marr, Kirsten Smith, Maisie Helpman, Rhea Dingle, Amaya Hicks, Natalie Stuckey, and Alea Trainter. Those girls worked hard every day. It was one of those teams that no matter how hard you worked them, no matter how tired they were, they just kept moving on. So we're very proud of them, state champions all around. Now, a few recognitions, and I'm going to kind of put boys and girls together in these recognitions because there's a long list, and I hate to take up all your time, but it's just a long list. All conference in track is different from other sports. It's like cross country. To be all conference, you have to win your specific event. If you don't win it, you're not all conference, and you have to win it at the conference meet, nowhere else. So Matthew Gray is all conference. He's all conference pole vault. He also set the conference record as a sophomore. Amelia Rogers, all-conference, pole vault. Emily Laner in 3 events. Gracie Monteith in 2. Jenna Marr also was on a conference record holding 4x2 team. Jessica Lohman, conference record 4x2 team. Maisie Heltman, conference record 4x2 team. Monica Reardon was a conference record 100-meter hurdle, 4x200 relay, and she was also named Smoky Mountain Conference Runner of the Year. Congratulations to Monica. Our other all-conference was Amaya Hicks. It's a long list of all-conference runners. All-conference honorable mention means you place second in your event. And again, it has to be at the conference meet. And that was Connor Brown, John Schuler, Maisie Heltman, Gracie Monteith, Jessie Lohman, Anna Gray, Natalie Stuckey, Landon Matz, Josiah Gillespie, Josh Collins, and Cooper Hyatt are all conference honorable mentions. All Western region means you won your event at the regional meet. And we have several of those. We have Matthew Gray, Dawson Cody, Amaya Hicks, Amelia Rogers, Emily Laner, Gracie Monteith, Jenna Marr, Jessica Lohman, Lily Bjorknes, Maisie Heltman, and Monica Reardon are all Western region. And then all state means you went to the state meet and you won at the state meet. And that would be Matthew Gray, Amelia Rogers, Monica Reardon, and Jessica Lohman. Again, just fantastic year. I can't speak enough for, all these awards, all these recognitions. Fantastic job, guys. We're very, very proud of you. And then we have 2 awards because this year was such a strange year. And, we had some people show up late. We had some people show up real early. The injury bug, and you were never quite sure of who was going to be where just because COVID just lingered around the corner. We just wanted to give out the Coaches Award, and it's a big award. And the Coaches Award went to the individuals who we thought best personified team, who was a Maroon Devil through and through. On the boys' side, this kid, first year I've met him, I think the world of him. He did everything we asked, and he did it exceptionally well. And when we asked him, hey, do you want to come triple jump? I've never done it. Let's go try it anyway. He came over there and did it. And by golly, he's jumping 40 feet before long. He was a team leader. When he got injured, he supported the team. He was there every practice, even though he couldn't participate. He was there. And he always did it with a big smile on his face. Our Coaches Award goes to a junior who'll be back, Isaiah Collins. On the girls' side, I can't speak enough about this girl. In fact, I told her because I didn't know her freshman year. I met her last year. Halfway through the season, I heard the coaches talking about how much she's grown and how much they can depend on her now. And she's just this weird combination of, I can do really anything. She's the only girl we've got that can compete in the 200 and the 2 mile. And she did all those events through the course of the year. And again, 3-time all-conference performer. Our Coaches Award will go to Emily Laner. Thank you.
All right, as we end our award ceremony, once again, I want to recognize a few things. First of all, we had some coaches who were Coaches of the Years this year. We had Coach Jennifer Chatham and Coach Payne for girls cross country. The girls cross country team was Smoky Mountain Conference champions, and we want to congratulate them on a great year. Boys soccer, Coach Scott Cline. They were Smoky Mountain Conference championships, and he was Smoky Mountain Conference Coach of the Year. Congratulations, Coach. And Coach Ian Roper and the track staff on being Coach of the Year for Smoky Mountain Conference champions, and they were also state champions. So congratulations, coaches, on those honors. At this time, I would also like to thank our seniors, once again, for what you went through this year. Yes, we would like to have had a regular school year, but when you think back down the road, you'll be able to remember the times that you started volleyball in November and played through Christmas. We played football in February and March. Okay, track, baseball, wrestling season was in the spring. We went all the way to the end of June. Those things that you'll be able to think back to and cherish those memories on things you had to do. Taking your temperature every day, riding in separate bus seats, wearing a mask while you played. Those things we'll think back later on and maybe laugh about that we had to do. At this time, even though this year was difficult, we had a great year. We had 3 conference championships in our sports. We had a state championship in girls track. We had several state championships in track, indeed, and with our girls. We had a boys state championship in pole vault. So with this tough year, our athletes shined at the end, and we continue to have great sports here at Swain County High School. Thank you.